Hello Wolves! I know it's already almost mid-August and I'm filming my July wrap-up now because I forgot what excuses I was supposed to say, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm late, whatever. Better late than never, so I'm gonna film my July wrap-up. Yeah. So I have my laptop here because as usual I cannot remember what I read and the number of stars I give them and blah blah blah. I'm an old lady, but let's just jump into it because yeah, I'm late. I don't remember which order, I'm not gonna bother about it, but I've read a few books, I don't even know how many, but we'll figure out that all together. Oh my gosh, that video started as a mess, like, I'm sorry wolves. I will probably have a lipstick everywhere, but who cares? I started in July Nevernight, I finished it in August, so I don't know why I'm talking to you about it, but just so you know, I give it 4 stars. It could have been on 5 stars, but the thing is that I think I don't like stories with assassins. I have a problem with assassins and their behavior and the way they see themselves, etc. The story was good. It's an adult fantasy, which was great to read for once. I really love the story. I really love the twist. I really love the plot. I love the characters, but the fact that they were assassins, I don't know how to explain them. I don't like assassins' mind. I don't like them thinking that they have the life of someone in their hands. They actually do because they're gonna kill people, but I really don't like that. I don't know how come, but I still gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. So yeah, you probably all know what it is about, but you have the main character Mia, who is actually someone with some kind of abilities. So she has a cat Shadows that nourish himself from her fear, and she's gonna go to that very secrecy kind of school in order to become the best assassin whatever from one specific group, and she's gonna meet other people who want exactly the same thing, and you know, stuff gonna happen. Some people will turn their back to some other people, like some stuff's gonna happen, dead people and blah 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 blah, but yeah, she's getting ready in order to become an assassin. And what I'm saying doesn't make any sense, but you know what Nevernight is about, so I'm just gonna stop and move on to the next book. Then I've listened to Labyrinth of Pan, no, it's Pan's Labyrinth, The Labyrinth of the Faun by Guillermo del Toro. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because I was like a bit disappointed, but I feel I shouldn't be a bit disappointed because it was exactly the same as the movie. So if you've watched the movie, the audiobook, because I listened to it, was exactly the same. I could picture everything that I saw in the movie. So it was exactly the same. But what I loved is that actually Guillermo del Toro did the narration for the audiobook. So I really enjoyed it. It is basically a Spanish tale, very dark and bloody, with very rich drawn characters. Read the synopsis on Goodreads and you will really like, if you love dark-ish tales and with not so happy stuff happening, you will enjoy it. It happens during the war with a little girl who's kind of lost with her mother who's sick and pregnant, and her stepfather who's not really the best. You will meet child-eating monsters, you will meet soldiers, you will meet, I don't know, courageous people, robots, etc. It's a really rich tale, so I will highly recommend you to pick it up. Then I've read Sharonflame, which is the sequel to Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett, and I gave it 3 stars. I don't know how come, but I loved it very much. I love the plot, I love the characters, but it was, yes, it was slow, as slow as the first book, but I felt like I lost some of the magic that was in the very first book. So basically this is a story of Kate, who is seen as a traitor because her dad actually tried to kill the king. So she has been like casted out, and she's working as, like, I forgot the name, a post woman kind of thing. So she has to go from one place to another as fast as possible, and she has some kind of abilities because she's a wilder. She can control animals' mind, which is awesome, and she's very good at riding horses, and that's really because of that ability. And she's gonna go on some kind of adventure because she's gonna work and she's gonna see people who've been attacked by night drakes. Night drakes are some kind of dragons who attack people only at night. But something is wrong because the people were actually attacked by day drakes, which is something that shouldn't happen because they actually don't exist. They cannot handle the sun, etc. So that's quite interesting. And she has amazing friends and she's gonna have to team up with the guy that she doesn't like anymore. So it's gonna be like lots of ups and downs and feeling stuff and blah blah blah. But I really enjoyed the first book. The second one was like a little, I don't know, it let me down a little bit, but I still enjoyed it. Then I read Hook and Crown by Nicole Knapp. This is basically a dark retelling of Peter Pan, and I gave it 2 stars. One, because I didn't DNF it, and second, because the idea was interesting, but no. So I'm gonna link the video, the vlog in which I rant about that book. I'm not gonna talk much about it because usually I prefer to talk about books I've liked and not books I hated. Basically, I don't know what was not wrong with that book. The characters were bland. The way they were interacting with each other didn't make any sense. The way they were described like as fierce and whatever, and then she was like crying all the time and hesitant, and then I love you, I hate you, oh come kiss me, no I want to slap you. It didn't make any sense. I hated that book. I hated that book. I didn't understand anything about it. There was some kind of love triangle and I could see why, but it wasn't done properly. Like, I hated it. I hated it. For me, it was just stupid. But yeah. And everything was just going so fast. Like, she was in love after, like, spending 2 hours with the guy. Some people believe in love at first sight or whatever, but it wasn't done that way in the book. It felt like, it wanted to make you feel like you spent months reading about them, and then actually it was just 2 hours in the story, so it was just ridiculous. I didn't connect with the characters. I didn't like the plot. Everything was predictable and not predictable at the same time, because it was predictable but you were like, no, I don't want that to happen. I want actually something else to happen to get surprised and whatever. So I didn't connect with anything. And again, no world building. Okay, you know that it's gonna happen in Neverland because Peter Pan and blah 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 blah, but it's all gonna be about 3 characters and that's it. Like Captain Hook, Peter Pan, and the little girl. Okay, there is some fairies and I mean blah blah blah, but it was really boring. It was really boring. I don't feel like I've read about a story about something. I just felt, I don't know, I didn't like it. I will not recommend it, but again, maybe it's gonna be your next favorite book ever. But I really expected it to be closer to Lost Boys by Christina Henry, but it was not. And I'm out of focus, sorry for that. Then I read City of Ashes, so the second book in the Mortal Instruments series, and I gave it 3 stars. The plot was even more interesting than in the first one. The characters were as annoying as in the first one. Basically, that's how I'm gonna summarize the book. Then I've read Lady Smoke by Laura Sebastian, which is the sequel to Ash Princess. I gave it 3 stars. I don't exactly remember why. Let me check. Okay, so basically I said in my review that I enjoyed the character development, I enjoyed the twists, etc. But I felt like it was really slow, and it was exactly the same as in the first book, but just a bit different because the story was different, but it was like a copy of the first book, which I was a bit disappointed by. But I'm still intrigued and I want to read the 3rd book when it comes out. So yeah, this is basically the story of Theodosia, who was actually captured by a guy who came, a king who came and destroyed her entire life. He killed her mother, he killed her people, he took her kingdom from her. He kept her alive as a toy to show everyone that he can do whatever he wants and that she is now a slave. Basically, she's a slave there, used just to like walk around kind of thing. And of course, this is a YA fantasy and there is some kind of rebellion going on. She's gonna take part in it. And yeah, lots of stuff will happen in the first book. Like, it's a very, let's say, slow book. I want to say lots of tiny stuff will happen, but it's not a packed, like fast-paced, very action-packed kind of books. But I really love the characters, and yeah, I've reread Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone 5 stars. Do I really need to say why? No. And I've reread the Slytherin version of it because I wanted to. So Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. And then another book that I've read is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. Like, I don't know which book by Neil Gaiman will not be amazing according to me, for me, because I love his writing style. It's weird, it's odd, it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's dark, it's twisted. I love it so much. I love it so much. This is basically the story. Do I have to say this is basically the story every single time? Apparently so. So this is basically the story of a guy who's gonna tell what he has experienced as a child. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's dark, it's twisted. The guy's gonna go on a funeral and he's gonna remember where he was when he was young, and he had a friend there. So he's gonna go to the house being like, oh, I've not seen her in years, in ages, so let's go and see if she's there. And he's gonna tell us what he lived, what he experienced as a kid there when he was living nearby. Neil Gaiman is one of my favorite authors. If you feel like reading something dark and twisted, make sure to check the synopsis on Goodreads or whatever, because triggers, like always triggers. But yeah, I really loved it. 5 stars. So, if I remember well, I've read 8 books. If you wanna add to that Nevernight, which I'm not sure I should, but whatever, let's just say that yes. And yeah, I think it was okay. I was like not in a reading slump, but at one point I didn't want to read anymore. So I think I did good. Let me know what you think. If I did good, let me know what you read. And if you read any of the books I've read, it will be interesting to talk about it. But yeah, that's the end of the, I was about to say unboxing, that's the end of the wrap up, wolves. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual, and until next time, take care, wolves. Bye.